Gat's cross for the first one anyway was fucking tremendous. Great pieces, great individual kind of set pieces, but they deserve to win it. Let's be honest.
We could have won it. See if we had
Harson.
No.
Baldy no get sent off.
No, Baldy gets sent off. But say we had Boric or Forster in goals instead of Douglas. I think technically we could have won it because
I think Douglas gets way too much criticism for the final because ultimately,
possibly, but he was at fault for at least.
It was, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. It was extra time. But Porto were not in any way pressing us. Baldy makes a reckless challenge, their tails go up. It was going to penalties. It was definitely going to penalties.
I wouldn't have fancied us in penalties either.
It doesn't matter. We would have taken it to penalties. It's anyone's
no.
I think the point would be, I agree, Porto, they cheated and it was nasty and it was time wasting, and that goalkeeper who was fucking pish at Barcelona, he was pish at Porto, a terrible keeper. Fuck him. The point is, Celtic were terrific. Mixture of pride. You made a good point. I'll get to you in a second, but you made an excellent point there because the Martin O'Neill's first was it his first Bordeaux. When Bordeaux last Lawn scored in the last minute, Dugarry scored over there, and we got a one each draw in Bordeaux. Right? Don't get me started on Dugarry. Terrific taste in music as well, by the way. The point is that was the third round of the UEFA Cup, and we get knocked out by Bordeaux. And I remember the next day having tremendous pride that we'd got that far. Now, it was only 3 or 4 years later that we were in the UEFA Cup final.
That was the first season we'd got past Europe in Christmas for 20 years.
Yeah.
And now we're fucking pissing and moaning about Deila. Yeah. And we're in Europe.
Yeah, and we weren't past Europe in Christmas last year. And we were only with Lennon, and I'm not going to sit here and shit all over Lennon, but we were only past Christmas once with Lennon in, 3 or 4 seasons, and we've done it in the first season with Deila. So maybe we need to just sit and take stock of, where we are. See, at the end of the season, if we've got a Scottish Cup, a League Cup, a League Winners' Medal, and we got to the last 16 or the quarter-finals of the UEFA Cup, how can you better that season?
Well, winning a treble and beating Inter from now on. No, I don't think many people would be moaning at Deila, would they?
I still think that you would get people moaning at him.
To go back to that final, though.
No, Celtic, man.
Nah, he's not in Coyle. Does he go to Mass?
To go back to that final, I think, yes, we lost the game, and obviously it was devastating.
We did lose the game.
We did,
Francis. That's an accurate statement.
Yeah. Yes.
But, see, just the scenes of how many Celtic fans went there, the fact that everybody had, that was amazing. I remember my auntie and my cousin, they went over there, didn't have a ticket for the game, got a flight over, went to the pub, loved it. I mean, how many Celtic fans went to Seville for that game? It was a hell of a lot, and everybody fantastic, loved it, had a great time. Everybody loved us for it. That is brilliant. You think of them going to Manchester and destroying the place, especially when they get beat. It shows you the contrast.
I was going to say that was one of my favourite finals because I was fucking bricking it that year.
Oh Jesus Christ!
And I'm not joking.
When Rangers,
aye, and I'm not going to joke.
When they got to penalties with Fiorentina, me and my old man watched it, and we were when the game kicked off in Florence, we were kind of laughing I wait to see this. And then they didn't concede, and they didn't concede, and they didn't concede, and then it went to penalties, and I can't remember who missed the penalty, but as soon as he set it up, I turned to my dad and went, he's going to fucking miss this, and he did.
Do you know?
Novo not win it for him?
Novo scored, aye.
Novo won it.
And how I'll describe this is, see, my downstairs neighbour, he's a Rangers fan, his family are obviously, I was in watching the game that night, and for some reason his TV seems to be 2 seconds faster than mine. So it got to penalties, right, and Novo was stepping up, and as he ran up, he was running up, it exploded downstairs, and I watched him knowing that he was going to score. That was the worst moment of my life. Now, we're having a party in Manchester, was just exploding from downstairs, and I was sitting there like that. And then my phone rang. I got 3 phone calls from people that I know who are slightly more mental than me and harder. Fuck it, you want to go into town? Fuck them, man. Not really. I don't really want to go into town. I want to just
Do I
sit
know any
here
of these
and
people
cry.
now?
Possibly.
Was it bowed?
No, I said hard. Do you know what I mean? But
He's flaccid.
he's very flaccid. But I remember watching that, and then to go from that and then to the final, they were 1-0 up, and I couldn't watch the end of it. And then I got a phone call from someone who said, it was Thingy that scored, wasn't it, Ashvin?
Aye.
He said he scored, and then I turned it on, and it was just the weight came off my shoulders, and then you got the explosion of violence across Manchester, and that was it was almost worth it. You know, I've lost. Let's see them kick off,
Embarrass themselves.
and it was great.
Me and France, whether he remembers it or not, me and France and a bunch of others watched it in the Queen's Park Social Club, Queen's Park Football Club Social Club, next to Hampden.
It looks terrific just now. It's been all done up.
Aye, but is the social club been
Social club's been completely.
That's it.
Aye,
Well, I know
it used to
that.
be kind of porter cabin.
aye, basically.
Aye, but I know they get taken away. Have
It's
they been
it's moved round to the other side.
Aye, I know where the building is for the club.
Looks
Anyway, we were in there watching it, and we went there because at the time they were kind of quite liberal and as far as
They let homosexuals in.
homosexuals
again,
and people,
we're a pro-homosexual
Yeah,
podcast.
but we're still childish.
and people under the age of 18 could buy a pint. So that's
water.
I hear you.
That's why we were there.
Not anymore though, they've changed all their staff. Good peoples.
Great place. You
Good
should go
peoples.
there. So we were there. We became members of Queen's Park Social Committee or whatever. I don't know.
I'm still a season ticket holder.
Yep. And we would go there to drink, and we went there on the night of the final, and every guy in the place was a Rangers fan. But it was only during that final that it all came out. That the whole disguise of a Queen's Park fan quickly changed to
The facade.
the facade dropped, and it was just all Rangers. And we were sitting there, all our pals are all Celtic fans. And remember,
Did this happen, France? The way
You're making this up. I don't play any Queen's Park.
remember D, one of our mates, D.
D the Hun.
No,
D Hepburn.
D the Tim. D ended up having an old guy square up to him, and D's not a boy to square up to. And the two of them
Big fat
were
bastard.
right in
It was D that phoned me after the Fiorentina semi-final.
The two of them were having a square go in the middle of the pub because this boy was raging at the fact that we were cheering on the other team and going nuts because we weren't supporting Rangers. I can't believe you don't remember that.
You did start that story with France. Probably doesn't remember this. To be fair.
I know, true.
I didn't watch the final, the Rangers final. I went to a comedy club and I sat. It's one of those where I went to this comedy club.
Hosted by Craig White.
Oh,
No. I went to this comedy club and I was sitting, and as much as people were coming out with comedy, I was just on my phone the whole time, just nervous. Anyway, my favourite European Cup final, if you're interested.
as long as you keep it quick. Under 140 characters, please.
95. 95. 96.
96.
They lost in 95, didn't they?
No, they weren't in the final in 95. That was Ajax Milan in 95.
Yeah. Those Italian teams are the same with me. No, you're correct. They lost...
97, 98, 98.
Yes.
97, 98. The only team to win to lose 2 European Cup finals in a row when they lost to Real Madrid and then they lost to Borussia Dortmund.
Great.
It was fucking not great.
It was.
It wasn't.
It was. I have
That fucking Lars Ricken.
Lars
Get you to
Ricken.
fuck. You are pish, mate.
Michael Zorc.
Love Michael Zorc, by the way.
Michael Zorc.
Who's the
Paul
director of football at
Borussia
Dortmund just now. Klopp. Jesus. Oh.
Terrific hair.
Terrific. You're right on it with the hair stuff. This guy's fun. This is why you're involved. Klopp. Shut up, dickhead. Louis Klopp.
Yes.
You could sack Jurgen Klopp, could you?
Nope.
Give me a reason why.
You might do the dignified thing, though, and...
Walk away.
Fuck off.
Fuck off, walk away.
No, I don't think they would sack him, and I think he would have to leave. I think he will leave.
I think it's still got
Was there not?
managerial job in Europe though.
Do you know what?
I think-
Everybody kind of says that he should go to Arsenal.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking when I said
But the
it.
problem
But that
is,
would
though,
involve Wenger fucking leaving.
yeah. I think that. Do you know what I find incredible? Genuinely find incredible. Excuse me. Is that he's the only guy who. Now we're in
this?
the Klopp. We're in December, and Borussia Dortmund are 17th. Right, and this is a team that should be challenging.
bottom.
No, they're seventh. Well, they're joint bottom with Freiburg. Freiburg are 18th. Dortmund are 17th. They've got 15 points. They're 2 points behind 14th. Right, so they're 2 points off 14th, but still. My point is, can you ever remember anybody? You know, this is a guy who, don't get me wrong, has genuinely done some terrific stuff in his tenure at Borussia Dortmund, but in his final year. Because this is his final year, I'm pretty sure. Although he said he doesn't want to leave. This is a guy whose team in December are sitting 17th, and I don't think it's going to damage his reputation at all. What was that?
There's a wasp in the room. No, is it going to damage his reputation?
Like-
Yes, it's going to. Of course it is. It's going to.
It has to.
I don't think it does. I don't think it will.
Even if it doesn't damage it, it's going to put a question mark next to it. The weird thing is, though, they finished top of their Champions League group.
Yep, and and who have they got? What's their draw? Their draw's Juve, isn't it?
Doddle.
Aye, fuck. Aye, you're right, Doddle. Aye, they'll
Right,
definitely.
hold on. What if he finishes lower half of the table, but gets to the
Higher than
final
eight?
of the Champions League?
You tell me.
Win or lose, does he keep his job?
If he wants
I
it.
think he could go
If he
out
wins the Champions
I
League, he's
think-
in the he's qualified for the Champions League for next season. So
I think he could go out the Champions League at the next stage.
he
The
will.
stage it is
He
at.
will.
And he could finish in the bottom four.
Did
of the
Brian
league, and I
Robson-
think he'd still keep his job.
Brian Robson.
I don't think they could sack him.
This isn't going to be that interesting. Did Brian Robson at Middlesbrough not get to 2 cup finals and get relegated in the same season?
He did, yeah. That's right. He lost both of them, though.
I don't know, but still, it's Middlesbrough. They're fucking shit.
Yeah, well, to be fair, they were getting money pumped. They Juninho, Ravanelli, and
Emerson. But Emerson was.
No, I was going to say Craig Higdon.
Did they not have
Craig
10,000 fans at an away game
Who?
the other day? Middlesbrough.
Middlesbrough are second. Krank's manager. They're doing pretty well.
Aye, but no, they can't even fill. Was it the Riverside?
Aye.
They can't.
No, but maybe it wasn't 10, but it was either it was
It was a big support.
either 8 or 10,000
Aye, so Chelsea
away
fans.
supporters.
Aye, so Chelsea fans. Anyway, so let's go back to talking about how awesome Juventus are. Terrific. No. What we'll do is we're going to talk about now throughout the year. Excuse me. Throughout the year, we don't really comment on Rangers because ultimately we're not Rangers fans and we're not really that interested in being a bunch of Celtic fans picking at Rangers. But
Listen, it's my round, so I'll go get the beers in before this starts.
go for it. But Chris, we'll start with you.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on the Rangers situation at the moment? We briefly touched on it before, but what are your thoughts on where they are and what's happened over the course of the last couple of months?
I just find it really amusing. I mean, because the fans in general, you hear them talking amongst themselves and saying this is a disgrace, this is that, this is the next thing. But then any sort of outside influence mentions what's wrong with the club and they go absolutely nuts. It goes back to what you said earlier on about the fans of some clubs not tolerating criticism of their club. That's not in the mindset of Celtic fans. We tolerate, it annoys us when a lot of people in the media criticise us, but we accept it and we criticise ourselves quite heavily. For me,
Too much sometimes.
well, sometimes I would agree with that, but in general, I don't think that's in the mindset of your average Rangers fan. They don't. I mean, they might mutter amongst themselves, but essentially, they don't tolerate criticism that well. Therefore, first of all, you had White came in. The guy was clearly a shyster.
Craig White.
Craig White, yeah.
I can't believe you got that wrong.
What did I say?
Ian White.
Did I say Ian White?
I thought you just said white.
White, I did that.
Okay, I'm daft then, sorry.
Ian White. I went, White. Maybe that's what it was. Right, Craig White came in at the start it wouldn't have taken much of an internet search, although there was a rumour apparently somebody said that he paid to get his internet history deleted.
That's what, was it Tom English said that? That basically